Oh, Dynan carbon fiber strut brace?
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, I actually want to introduce to you the car behind me. Now I know if you watched the GTI video, in that one I said that that was going to be the next chapter and I was going to have plans which I had to change, but this one came up and I couldn't resist. So basically I've been looking for one of these, and we'll talk about it in a minute, for 11 months. And this one, when it came up, I had to decide to get rid of one of the cars. So rather than deciding which one, because they were all really good, I basically put 3 of the cars up for sale and it was the first one to go. And that was the GTI. So it was unfortunate, I love the car, but I couldn't pass up the opportunity to own one of these. So hopefully you're going to enjoy this story, because whilst there have been a lot of stories about these cars already online, I intend to do something a little bit different. So let's take a look round and see what you think. So for anyone familiar, you'll notice immediately this is an E60, so the generation E60 of the BMW. And in this case, you probably can tell from a couple of the features already, this is indeed the M5. Now this is an 06, which means it's got that infamous V10 engine. And no doubt, if you've seen any videos on V10s and M5s, you'll know that they can be, I wouldn't say unreliable, but if you don't maintain them, for sure they will be. So this one, you'll notice that other badge, maybe we can get a little bit closer to that. So this is actually a Dynan as well. So we'll talk about that a little bit, as well as the car overall, but as you know, just walking around this, you can see what excellent condition it's in. So bearing in mind, obviously these can be fairly temperamental, it was for sure important to get a PPI done. And I've got a video about that, and so let's kind of cut to that now and see what we found. All right, so heading up to Chicane Motorsports, they're planning on doing the PPI. They're really well experienced with these cars. They've got a few guys there that have worked on them. And just in general, they are great guys to work with. So if you haven't checked them out already, locally they are brilliant. So thoroughly recommend it.
So much room in the engine bay to look at things like...
Is that sarcasm?
Yeah, oh, valve cover, is the valve cover leaking? Well, I don't know. Let me pull out my borescope.
So what year is this?
2006.
Oh, you're playing with fire.
Can we manual swap this?
Manuals are so rare nowadays.
Well, we've had a ton of people ask if we can manual swap these like we do the 46s.
I will LS swap a car before I manual swap one of these.
Yeah. Please don't LS swap this one.
Great.
That's pretty good. Shift's great. I remember the first time I drove one of these. Like I tried to shift without lifting off the gas pedal. And it's like, it just doesn't work. It does that. You can do it, but it's just so much quicker. Like, you know that, right? Like if you lift when you shift, like you do that.
I didn't, so
Yeah,
just like the manual.
Absolutely.
Right.
Just like that quick, and it'll shift so much smoother. Because yeah, you can hold flat foot, but
it
yeah,
would take
like
longer.
really feels like you gotta feel it throw you down. Versus if you just give it a lift, like it's just so much smoother. So I see how it doesn't like throw you forward like that. You can read the front end creaking. Thrust arms, tie rods. I can definitely feel it in the wheel, but yeah, you can feel it like right in your butt. Alright, I'm gonna brake so this and doesn't really exaggerate with braking. Yeah, probably tie rods or thrust arms. Alright, let's see.
So we're just going to do a quick inspection just of all the paintwork. Actually looks to be in really good condition. Oh look, there's a mark there. Maybe a little rock chip there. This one is the one where you can see basically maybe a little bit of bubbling, but on the inside, work out how to unlock it. Basically, someone's done some paintless dent removal. So there was something that happened here. Scratch there. But it actually does look like it's in really nice condition. Okay, the other side as well. Something's happened with the rear quarter. Not the end of the world. But that actually looks like there might be a bit of rust. So that needs addressing. That's strange, having a little bit of a scratch there, but nothing there. So it's made some contact at the front with something, but generally it's actually not too bad. Okay, ha!
Oh man!
It's been towed! Just checking the wheels, so you can see a little bit there. Same on this one. Again, a little bit of curbing there. One's not bad. And then here's the interior. Do a better view at another point, but it's actually in pretty good condition. Headliner is all good. There's sunroof. So here it is. It actually looks fairly clean, which is nice to see. And there wasn't any immediate evidence of any oil leaks. A little bit of a weepy power steering reservoir. Alright, so overall it's not too bad.
Oh, Dynon carbon fiber strut brace?
Baller!
What do you mean?
Did you know it had that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's got the serial number here if you, you know.
Oh no. What is this? Like a Dynon S3? Oh,
It's got a 2.
It's just an S? It's less baller.
See, immediately, this is why you do a PPI.
Man, I love the way these cars sound. They're so good. This is I'm assuming has exhaust on it? Or?
It does, yep.
Okay.
So the vent's like right there.
Oh, okay.
So like, if it's over full at all, it'll
Just by getting hot, it's going to puke. Yeah.
So people are always like, oh, it's leaking, but really if it's up here, you know,
Yeah.
then it's normally just the fact that somebody overfilled it. it's hot, it just spits out. Ugh. It looks awful. Level's right. But like,
oh yeah, that does look a bit manky, doesn't it? Yeah, that needs changing. Okay. So it came back. The only fault was with the front right parking sensor, which isn't the end of the world, but that's really good for, again, this car, this year. They're renowned for having problems. There's a lot of electronics to go wrong.
and so right now it's full. I mean, it needs to be a little bit. It's also hot.
Yep.
So let's let it cool off, because it'll probably drop.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing that worried me. That's my one concern, is just obviously head gasket issues. Hopefully there isn't. Hopefully this is just literally the guy before him changed the coolant. So apparently they did a coolant flush. Now in that flush, I don't know if they got the correct level of coolant back, because some people don't bleed it properly and wait for, and go and check afterwards. So I'm hoping that's all it is, but we'll see.
Hey, we has the pressure. All right, let's hit it at 15 and leave it for a little bit. We'll do the rest of it.
So just show. So that's at 15 psi, and the idea is we want to come back later and it still be at 15 psi. That means there's no leaks in the cooling system.
Yeah, it's a little bit low.
Yeah.
And it dropped a little bit. But again, like when it came in, it was hot.
Right. And that should have been all the way up.
That's beautiful.
So it's a touch over 15. What's up? It's good. I was trying to put the air ducts back on. I left them off. My dining springs are rusty.
Oh, they are a little bit rusty, aren't they?
Yeah. He's never seen anything either.
Yeah, a little bit rust.
Yeah.
So you can see.
That would make sense. I'm gonna raise it higher.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm trying to get my exercise in. Do my squats. So you remember the other day we were talking about the wear marks on the tyres?
Yeah.
So you can see here how that rubber is just flat against it.
Oh, good. Yeah, so they're basically done.
Yeah, oh yeah, they're done. Ooh, ooh.
Tell the tire on.
Ooh, yeah.
And probably
So here, there's normally tread here. So when we're talking about, there's that little vibration at the front, and so it's wearing on the shoulder. So that's what that's from.
The bearings are good. Definitely looks like the front pads were just replaced at some point, or just not driven very much. Tons of pad life.
Yep.
But you can see the rotors weren't done, because there's a pretty good lip on them.
And there's a massive lip at the back on the rear rotor.
Yeah, and the rear pads are at about 6 mil. The fronts are like 16.
Okay.
They start at 20, so I mean, they're relatively new. Hey,
Oh yeah, we did notice that. Missing
bolts.
all the screws.
Alright, I am going
Yeah, so they didn't even screw it in.
No, they didn't. It's like they attached it at the front and then just left it. Oh, it's leaking.
Yeah. So that one probably just needs a new washer.
and then you can see it's really wet here. It's almost like they use the wrong tool. But that hopefully is what this fluid is. And then back here, because it kind of comes this way.
Yeah.
It looks like they use the wrong tool as well when they...
Well, it looks like at some point somebody rounded it out.
Right.
And then they had to put it back in, so they used some good old vice grips.
Oh, that's what the marking around the side is.
Yep. I don't know if that'll matter or not, but
So you can see here how much oil has been lost out of the trans. So that's just something to bear in mind.
Yeah.
Like, because it was done in September, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
man, is my headlight gonna get on YouTube?
Maybe.
Sweet.
There's one at the top there. Yeah.
This one's just the base torn. Which, I mean, that's the easiest one to replace. So
That's always good to hear.
that's good.
I wonder if that comes out. That's gone.
That upper one, yeah, this one's torn too.
Yep.
So yeah, that's probably. Oh yeah, diamond sway bars. This front one's is too.
Oh yeah. Or the grease packed out, coming out of it.
This one. Yeah, that one is too.
You see all the grease coming out of that one. And then, oh yeah, same there. You see it torn right in the corner, hopefully.
Yeah, so here's see the thrust arms
Oh yeah.
torn.
You see that there in the rubber?
That's that vibration.
Yeah.
So this whole arm stops the wheel from going like forward and back. So super common on these.
Oh yeah, moves around a lot.
Yeah, like that's we replace more thrust arms on the older BMWs. Yeah, definitely tell it's been a little time in the Midwest and Northeast.
The salt belt.
Somebody had a hard time with an alignment.
Oh yeah, they did.
See where their tie rods.
Yeah.
I mean that's not uncommon for cars to get a little rusty because you can't move them.
As you can see, most of the snow and ice is melting now, which is good. Okay, so that was better than I expected. Still worried about the coolant. We definitely need to test that when it's cold, because for sure, temperature dropping on the engine, the pressure is going to go down, right? It pressurizes when it gets hot. So yeah, we need to check that. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it's not the end of the world. The only thing that is concerning, which I want to wait and see what Brad thinks when it comes to how much it's going to cost to replace, is the suspension. So I'm not sure if it's common, but the springs have rusted and it looks like the shocks are going too, and they could be expensive. So if that's the case, I'm going to have to talk to the owner and see if there's any wiggle room, because that's my one area of concern. But overall, I mean, yeah, it was great to be able to see. I really appreciate he cleaned it up. Anytime you sell a car, make sure it's clean. Sure, dirt hides things, but you know, any decent or good buyer is not going to buy a dirty car. They're going to wait until it's clean so they can see everything. And yep, there was that little patch of rust. So again, it needs treating before it rusts through the panel. It could just be rock chips, you know, who knows, but it definitely needs doing. More than anything though, hopefully it comes out. I don't know how much came out in the video itself, but hopefully it comes out. It was great just to get Brad to drive it and actually put his seal of approval, but also just say, look, this is normal, this is fine, this is what to expect. If you've not had a car, especially like this, fairly specialist car before, if you've not had that model and had that experience with it, getting someone else who is experienced with it is worth its weight in gold. And for the couple of $100, $300, for a PPI, depending on where you go, again, it's just peace of mind, especially when you're talking about spending that sort of money. So yeah, now I need to go and sell a car for sure. That's without a doubt needs to be done. That's the only way I'm going to be able to be allowed back in the house, put it that way. Alright, so there it is. As you can see in the PPI, there were a number of issues found. Thankfully, nothing with the SMG and the engine itself. So in fact, the throttle bodies, the Vanos solenoids, and the SMG pump, clutch, flywheel, you name it, had already been done, spending thousands of dollars on it. But still, on the test drive, when I first looked at it, I could tell there was a wobble in the front end. And from the tyre wear, you could see that there were issues. And so sure enough, those suspension components have gone and need replacing. So that's going to be the first order to actually get this thing up to snuff. And of course it needs a clean. Not sure if that will come out in the video. So later on today I'll be ordering things like tyres and all those suspension components, basically everything it needs. And then over the next couple of videos we're going to be working on this thing and getting it back in tip-top shape. But just look at it. I mean, I love these anyway, and I've wanted one for a long time now. And like I say, I've actually been actively looking for 11 months. And for anyone looking, you look at things like Bring a Trailer, you look at other sites like that, and once they come up, you're never sure on the maintenance history. So here it is then. Bring up the clocks, and you can see there that 87,000 miles. But just look at it. I mean, one of the other things that had been taking so long to find a good one was actually the colour of the interior. So I much prefer the silver and black. So what on earth's the plan? That's a very good question. So there's a ton of videos out there already on the V10 BMW, and I want to take this one in a slightly different direction. So all of those kind of talk about, hey, here's the problems, and you've probably seen a few problem child V10 BMWs in the E60 with the S85 engine out there. And they're very accurate, but what they don't always tell is that there are also some cars out there with a couple of 100,000 miles on them. And so the plan with this is I want to enjoy this car. I actually want to daily drive it as far as possible. It is rear-wheel drive, so things like snow, and we are in Kansas, that isn't going to go down very well, so we'll use the 335 for that. But I do want to drive this car and I want to enjoy it. And so I want to tell the story of what's it like to own one of these cars on a day-to-day basis with routine maintenance and what's going to go wrong. Now, in the last few months, this car has already had some work. Like I mentioned, it's had the clutch, it's had the Vanos solenoids, it had the throttle bodies, and then there was also another component which the owner showed me the receipt for, and the old part, just as we're signing over the title. So I know they've already gone through a number of things, and I'm sure there's going to be others, but I want to just, take it easy and enjoy it on a day-to-day basis. Now, I've got no doubt that many of you are already shouting at the camera that I should not even be attempting to daily drive this car. I know even when I took it to Chicane to do the PPI, Brad at Chicane, the owner of Chicane, thought I was insane. But again, I think it's going to be fun. Okay, it's going to be a bit of an adventure, but it might be better than you think. But who knows until we try. So that's the impetus, really. That's really the plan. We're going to have some fun and we're going to enjoy it. You can't say fairer than that, right? So I wanted to keep this video short and sweet. Hopefully the PPI section didn't come out too long. I'll try and cut that down as much as possible to the interesting parts. And then also I'll show a list of all the things that I need to order. So I really hope you've enjoyed today's video and look forward to the journey ahead with the V10 BMW. I know I do. And as always, subscribe, like, and share with your friends. Thanks for watching and have a great day.